Hey yo, I'm back with another video, and today I want to do a prediction video for UFC Noche 306. And before I start today's video, subscribe to my channel and watch this video at 2 times the speed. Subscribe. Okay, without any further ado, let us start. UFC 306 Noche Riyadh season. I don't know what the hell. Everything. This is going to be on Mexican Independence Day, I guess. I'm not sure about it, but again, I don't live in USA. I don't know much about whatever goes in there, but they're making a fight in Vegas on Mexican Independence Day. A lot of it just does not make a lot of sense to me. Okay, but yes, this is supposed to be a really big card, but the UFC is also taking some losses on this card. By losses, I mean financial losses. So yeah, but that's a different topic. Let us start by talking about Raul Rosas Jr., the youngest fighter in UFC history, fighting against Aoriqileng, the Mongolian murderer. Like Aoriqileng, I think he lost one of his last fight. Uh, Raul Rosas Jr. is much younger. How old is Aoriqileng? He is, I believe, 30. He's 31, 5'7". He fights at. He was fighting in flyweight, I believe. He lost to Ayman Jahabi, and then he won against Johnny Munhoz Jr. And he's really old compared to Raul Rosas Jr. Raul Rosas Jr. is a heavy favorite. Aoriqileng is a heavy underdog. Okay. So, Raul Rosas Jr. versus Aoriqileng. I'm going to go with Raul Rosas Jr. Probably a unanimous decision, or maybe a third round finish for the young Mexican Brazilian Frankenstein. Manny Moicano comes up with always the most unique nicknames. Edgar Chairez is fighting against Joshua Van. I'm going to go with Edgar Chairez. How old is he? He's 28 years. This guy is 22. Joshua Van he lost his last fight. Um, I don't know, man. I'm going to go with Edgar Chairez just because he's Mexican and this is Mexican Independence Day. And Van lost to Charles Johnson, who is not exactly the greatest fighter, but yeah, why not? I'm going to go with Edgar Chairez, just out of Mexico. Love for Mexico. Viva Mexico. Uh, Yazmin Jauregui versus Ketlen Souza. I'm going to go with Yazmin Jauregui because I don't know. Again, I'm being biased towards the Mexican fighters because they're fighting on Mexican Independence Day. And again, I have no idea about these two fighters, so I'm just going to pick a random person. Ignacio Bahamondes versus Manuel Torres. Let's go with Manuel Torres. He is 5'10". This dude is 6'3" in lightweight. We are getting a lot of these tall, lanky lightweights who just fold whenever they are fighting a grappler. They just fold. And yeah, this guy is on a good winning streak, whereas Ignacio Bahamondes, he lost one fight, and Manuel Torres hasn't lost any fight. At least he's on a 5-fight winning streak. So I'm gonna go with Manuel Torres, El Loco versus La Wala. Whatever, man. It does not really matter who wins this one, to be honest. Irene Aldana is fighting against Norma Dumont. I'm gonna go with Norma Dumont because again, she's on a better winning streak. Also, she I think is a younger fighter. Irene Aldana is 36 years old. She is 2 inches taller, and she'll probably have 1.5 inch of reach advantage. I don't know if that makes a lot of sense. But in her last fight, I think she lost. Who did she lose against? She fought for the belt and lost. I remember that. But again, I'm gonna go with Norma Dumont. And again, also, wasn't Irene Aldana fighting in featherweight division at one point of time? But she's now coming down to bantamweight, which might not be her real weight class. Who knows? So I'm gonna go with Norma Dumont. Ronaldo Rodriguez versus Ode Osbourne. I'm gonna go with Ronaldo Rodriguez because he is Brazilian and his name is Lazy Boy. I mean, what a cool nickname, the Jamaican sensation. This guy is 5'7", he's 5'6". They're pretty much of same height, but Ode Osbourne is going to get a lot of, he's going to have a good amount of reach advantage, which is what 8-inch reach advantage. That is significant reach advantage over Ronaldo Rodriguez. But still, I think Ronaldo Rodriguez is much younger, uh, and also he's fighting in uh, on Mexican Independence Day. I think the Mexican crowd. I don't know if there's going to be any Mexican in the crowd because like this is not in California. This is in Vegas, right? Yeah. This is going to be in Vegas. I don't know, but still, I'm going to go with this young fighter because he's on a better winning streak compared to Ode Osbourne. So I guess I'm going to go with Ronaldo Rodriguez. Okay, why is Ronaldo Rodriguez in the main event? Like they should have put Raul Rosas Jr. in the main event. But then again, he's a grappler, so the UFC did not really want to take some risk with him. But I think maybe they could have put these guys because I don't know anything about Ronaldo Rodriguez. Let me just take a look at his record again. Is this his UFC debut or something? He, no, I think this is going to be his second fight in UFC. So pretty good, pretty good. Okay, now the real main card about fighters that we actually care about. Daniel Zellhuber versus Esteban Ribovics. Look, I have never seen Esteban Ribovics fight live. Probably I've seen a couple of his fights somewhere, but I just did not know who he was. But on the other hand, I have seen two or three fights of Daniel Zellhuber. He is a young fighter. He is pretty tall. He's 6'1" for lightweight division. And I think he can win this fight. In his last fight, he actually looked really good. I think he fought against Argentinian fighter. I think this guy is also Argentinian, right? Yeah, he's also Argentinian. Esteban is also Argentinian, and Zellhuber is kind of like a prospect. I would like to say he's a prospect. He fights out of Extreme Couture, the same gym that produced Sean Strickland. I think Francis Ngannou was also training there. Chris Curtis. They had a lot of people in there, and considering he's fighting out of Extreme Couture, the fight camp is really good. Their coach Eric Nixick, he's really good. They always have a better game plan compared to the other teams, and I think this guy can win this fight. I think I'm very confident. I'm not exactly confident, but I hope Daniel Zellhuber gets this win by probably by unanimous decision because Esteban Ribovics is also a good fighter. He's on a good winning streak himself. He's 13-1, and Daniel Zellhuber is 15-1. Daniel Zellhuber is ranked 51 in the world, and Esteban Ribovics is ranked 50. So this is going to be a really close fight, in my opinion. This is going to be a banger of a fight. Yeah, probably a fight of the night kind of a uh, contest. Fight of the night contest. Now, the Eagle, Brian the Bald Eagle Ortega, Brian the Old Eagle Ortega, a reformed Brian Ortega who is probably single. I don't know because that seems to always make it to UFC headlines somehow. He destroyed Yair Rodriguez in his last fight. They were fighting in Mexico City. Yair Rodriguez was going guns blazing in the very first round, and in the second round, he got submitted by Brian Ortega. Now he's fighting against Diego Lopes, a Brazilian Mexican, and Diego Lopes is 29 years old. Diego is 5'11. Brian is 5'8. Is Diego really 5'11? Because Diego looks big, but is he really 5'11? I don't exactly know. And is Brian, I think, is taller than 5'8, dude. Brian should be like 5'9 or 5'10 because he looks big. But then again, this will be a really interesting match just for the jiu-jitsu interaction or jiu-jitsu sprawls, the grappling sprawls, because they're both really good. They're both really good on the ground. I think Brian Ortega has more submissions, but then again, we have not exactly seen Diego Lopes do a lot of groundwork in the UFC. In his last fight, he fought against, who was it? Who did he fight last? I forgot. Dan Ige, Dan 50K Ige. In that fight, he won that by unanimous decision. But for that fight, he had to cut weight like three times. He had to cut weight three times. He was supposed to fight someone else. Then that fighter could not make it, so he had to fight Dan Ige, and that was like he had to make weight three times. Making weight three times is not really that easy. And also, he's one of the most entertaining fighters in the UFC right now. This guy always shows up to bang. He's always in there. He's in the moment. He made his debut against Movsar Evloev, who was undefeated, and that was, I think, one of the best debuts in UFC. Even though he lost that fight, but he gained a lot of fans that day. And after that, he has fought probably like 5 times in UFC. Yeah, he has fought 4 times in UFC, and his last fight was against Dan Ige. Now he's going to fight against Brian Ortega. But then again, I don't know how. Like Brian Ortega is actually a good competition, but then again, Dan Ige is also not a slouch on the feet. It'll be interesting to see if Diego Lopes can take it for like 3 rounds. I think this is going to be for 3 rounds. Because towards the end of the fight, that is in round 3, Diego Lopes got really tired in his fight against Denige. But again, that could be because he had to cut weight like 3 times or 4 times or something like that. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting if he can continue fighting with a pace that he puts on. And Brian Ortega is not going to be someone that will be really scared of going to the ground. Brian Ortega will grapple with anybody. He's got really good grappling, except for maybe the wrestlers. I don't think he's going to. I don't think he will be able to grapple with the Dagestanis because they're going to be physically stronger than him, and it won't work well for him. But on the other hand, against Diego Lopes, this will be a really good fight because I don't know who to pick to win in this fight because they both got really good boxing. Diego Lopes is more of a one. He hits really hard compared to Brian Ortega. Brian Ortega is more of a technical boxer. Again, he's not that technical, but he's better when it comes to his boxing. I think he's a better boxer than Diego Lopes, but Diego Lopes is more powerful. And on the ground, I don't know who takes it because, again, like I said, they both have really good grappling. Diego Lopes is, I'm fairly certain he's also a black belt, but he's a black belt from Brazil, and Brian Ortega is a black belt under Henner Gracie. I think is it Henner or Henzo? Not Henzo. I think it was Henner Gracie. So again, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. That's all I'm trying to say. Brian Ortega can definitely win this fight because he did win against Yair Rodriguez, but also Yair Rodriguez does not really have any ground game. Whenever he goes to the ground, he panics and he ends up getting submitted. Frankie Edgar showed us the blueprint to break down Yair Rodriguez, and he still has not improved. Yair is like really good. When it comes to his striking, he can continue striking with you for like 5 rounds until unless you're Alexander Volkanovski, but otherwise he can continue striking for a really long period of time. On the other hand, if Brian Ortega goes to the ground with Diego Lopes, I really hope they both go to the ground and they both really grapple. It can be as good as that fight between Arman Sarukian and what was this guy's name? I forgot. The Georgian guy. Anyway, was it Georgian? Whatever. Or maybe Polish. Brian Ortega versus Diego Lopes. I'm going to go with Diego Lopes maybe by unanimous decision, or I don't know. I don't think he can finish Brian Ortega because Brian Ortega has not really been finished except for by Max Holloway. And again, Diego Lopes is no Max Holloway. Let us be honest about that now. He lost to Alexander Volkanovski, and if Alexander Volkanovski could not finish him, and Max Holloway could not finish him, so I'm gonna go with maybe Diego Lopes by a unanimous decision, or maybe Brian Ortega by a unanimous decision because I don't know if he can finish Diego Lopes either. So I'm gonna go with Diego Lopes by a unanimous decision, but I'm not 100% sure on this because anybody can win this fight. So I'm not sure about this, by the way. Alexa Grasso versus Valentina Shevchenko. Okay, this will be an interesting pick. I'm gonna go with Alexa Grasso by a unanimous decision. Was it draw? Okay, the last fight was a draw. So I'm gonna go with Alexa Grasso, maybe a unanimous decision or maybe another draw. Who knows? Because Alexa Grasso she has figured out Valentina Shevchenko because Valentina Shevchenko is 36 years old. Alexa Grasso is only 31. She's also pretty old by UFC standard, but Valentina she's declining as a fighter after the age of 35, 36. You start declining, your body starts declining, and you're not in that, I don't know, you're not in your athletic prime, your physical abilities are not that sharp, your speed you kind of become slower, and your ability to take shots, that also kind of goes away. And Valentina Shevchenko is probably really angry after her last fight, and she's going to fight emotional, and whenever a fighter fights emotional, they end up losing the fight by decision. Like Peter Yan versus Aljamain Sterling Part 2. And that happens when the fighter is angry, they try to, they're angry, they fight with a lot of emotion, and they end up losing the fight. So I can see Alexa Grasso win this fight by another unanimous decision. That was that was like a really fast pick. But now the main event, Merab Dvalishvili versus Sean O'Malley. I'm going to go with Sean O'Malley. Why? I'll try to explain it to you. Because Merab tends to have some kind of staph infection. He also probably got a cut. And Merab, his way of winning this fight would be to take Sean O'Malley down for 5 rounds. And can he do that? I think, of course, he can do that. But will it be that easy? I don't think so. Because Sean O'Malley, he hits. He can hit. He has power. In the bantamweight division, a lot of fighters, they do not really have that one punch knockout power. But Sean O'Malley seems to have it. He seems to be able to find your chin, and he's going to be really fast. I think he'll be the fastest fighter that Merab is going to face in UFC. He's definitely faster than whoever that Merab has fought. He's faster than Jose Aldo. I would like to think that because Sean O'Malley is younger. He's much bigger than Jose Aldo. He's going to be much bigger than Merab Dvalishvili as well. Merab is 5'6". Sean, I don't know if he's 5'11". He's probably 5'10" because he's as tall as DC. So I think on the feet, Sean is winning that. In the grappling, it will be interesting to see if Sean can keep it on the feet because Merab is going to keep coming for the takedowns again and again. And after the staph infection, I don't know. I don't know if he actually has staph because he's always posting these weird pictures. He's trying to sell the fight. He's definitely selling this fight. MMA Guru made a post, made a video where he was saying that Merab Dvalishvili is just trying to sabotage this fight because he was trying to have Indian street food, which is not exactly something very healthy, but whatever, man. That was the funniest stuff. But I don't know, man. Merab always fights emotional. Merab is always, he's really hyper. He always has that pace. But I don't know if he can keep that pace for 5 rounds. I'm sure about that. Like, I don't know how many 5-round fights that he has had. That Henry Cejudo fight was 3 rounds. That Peter Yan fight was probably 5 rounds. And I think it was 5 rounds, right? That Peter Yan fight. I think so. I'm not exactly sure how many rounds this was, but wait, why did I? Okay. Yeah, that was probably 5 rounds. And that Jose Aldo fight was again probably 5 rounds. Then he lost to Kevin Denzer. I have no idea what that was. He won against Marlon Moraes, Cody Stamen, John Dodson, Gustavo Lopes, and Casey Kenny. So again, when it comes to grappling, Merab is a really good wrestler. He does not really have those finishing abilities on the ground. I've never seen him go for a submission, and it's not even like he keeps you on the ground. It's like he lets you back up and again takes you back to the ground. So can he do that against Sugar Sean for 5 rounds? Maybe, but we don't know. But Sugar Sean, if he finds Merab's chin, he's going to chin him. Just like he did against Aljo. I think Merab might be a more pace-heavy wrestler, whereas Aljo can find submissions. Aljo has submissions, whereas Merab is more of a pace-heavy wrestler. So it'll be interesting. It'll be an interesting fight, but I'm not going to count out Merab. But with that staph infection and all, I don't know how that is going to impact his cardio, how that is going to impact his endurance. But for me, I'm going to go with Sean O'Malley by probably a finish or maybe a unanimous decision. I'm going to go by a finish. He has to finish Merab. I don't think he can go 5 rounds against Merab. Or maybe he can. Who knows? But I'm going to go with Sean O'Malley probably by a 4th round finish. Or maybe a round 1 finish. Who knows? But I'm going to go with Sean O'Malley. I think that is going to be my pick. I'm going to repeat my pick. Raul Rosas Jr., he wins by probably a finish. Edgar Chairez, I think he wins. Yazmin Jauregui, I think she wins. Manuel Torres, I think he wins. Who knows? Irene Aldana versus Norma Dumont. I'm going to go with Norma Dumont. Ronaldo Rodriguez, I'm going to go with Ronaldo Rodriguez. Daniel Zellhuber. And again, Brian Ortega versus Diego Lopes. I'm not going to pick this one because I have no idea who's going to win this fight because they're both really equal. Grasso by a unanimous decision and Sean O'Malley by probably a late finish. I'm going to go with Sean O'Malley by a crazy late finish. I guess that's it from today's video. If you guys enjoyed the video, then drop a like and please share this video to your friends and family who enjoys UFC, and also subscribe to my channel. I've got very few subscribers. I want to get to 2,000 subscribers before the end of this year. And I guess that's it. Peace out.